Loopers and Leepers. This is a book, a short story that I read myself. And I did this before, but I never finished the pictures. They were partly colored in, and some of them were not. There was just 3. But I asked somebody, have you seen my video? Have you seen my videos? And they said, they said, you mean the ones that were not finished colored in? I said, yeah, that's them. And I thought, I need to redo this video and color them in. So I did, and I drew and colored in. So now there are 2 more pictures, so now there's 5. So here we go. Loopers and Leepers. Make sure that the camera is still in the rightful place. Here we go with Loopers and Leepers. And it begins, if you look at your screen, you will see, and you can read this, but I will read it. It is the beginning of the story. So give me a second here, and we will begin. Here we go. One moment. On a moonlit night, while a soft wind is blowing, and the frogs are croaking, while their bodies are soaking in puddles of water from a recent rain. Then you'll see, and then you'll hear them again, Loopers and Leepers, those strange creatures that only children see, and perhaps those who choose not to grow up. And between the shadows are things that go bump in the night, or even jump in the night, and crawl in the night. What's the sound? Did you see that? If it wasn't a frog, a bug, or a moth, it could have been Loopers and Leepers, those strange creatures that give me the creepers. Oh jeepers, they give me the creepers, those Loopers and Leepers. Then one day, after supper I would say, 2 children that I know who don't live too far away decided to look one moonlit night with a flashlight for Loopers and Leepers that give them the creepers as well. It's Bonnie and Billy whom I'm talking about, whom after supper they gave a small shout. We're off with our flashlight on this moonlit night to look for Loopers and Leepers who gave us a great fright. Don't be too late and come back 8:30. We won't be too late, Mother, my dear, 'cause we think Loopers and Leepers are quite near. So, off they went with flashlight in hand, and they thought this adventure was quite grand. And through the backyard they proceeded to go. They really didn't know where else to go. They looked at the fountain, and it was quite a sight. Moonlight glistening in the water was quite all right. But there was no Loopers and Leepers over there, and it seemed like there were not anywhere. So we looked around the myrtle tree, but there was nothing to see except the myrtle tree. So we got down on our knees by our own house. Bunny was afraid. Well, I flashed my flashlight under the house and saw nothing at all except a small mouse This cannot be a looper or leaper that give us the creepers. We must look on and walk around all over the yard, because finding those loopers and leapers may be a little hard. Then we checked with our mother, and she said it was okay to go looking for loopers and leapers over at Clay's. So we went down the trail, went down a ways. We went down to Clay's. He lives just across the street and down a ways, and Clay is usually there all day and night. And he'll know if they're looking, or rather he'll know if they're he'll know if there's loopers and leapers that give us a great fright. He might even show us some even tonight. And there he was, sitting on the front porch, watching the view. He was there, right there, just like we knew. "Hello, Clay. We've come to say, have you seen loopers and leapers today?" said Billy. Then Clay looked at me and Bonnie and thought for a while, until suddenly he smiled, a big smile, and said with a grin, "It's nice to see you again, 'cause you're my friends, and friends are few. I'd be glad to help you too." I've heard some strange noises. Yes, I have. Yes, quite a few. I was about to take a look until I saw you two. So come on down, and we'll look all around until maybe, just maybe, loopers and leapers might be found. Then the frog started croaking a croak that was quite loud and seemed to be coming from all around, even from under the ground. "I don't like those frogs," said Bonnie, with a scared look. "Must they be so loud and creepy?" "No need to fear, 'cause I'm here," said Clay. "So it's safe to look for loopers and leapers today." So they started looking and listening for any strange sound where loopers and leapers might be found. So Clay led the way and followed a strange sound that seemed worse than all the frogs that were all around, making those terrible croaking sounds. Rabbit, 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 rabbit. Just then, Bonnie let out a shriek, "Ee!" when a frog, jumping high into the air, ka-doing, landed there, right there on her feet. Then she shook and she shook her foot. Then she looked to see if the frog was gone, but he was hard to make. It was very hard to make that frog move alone. He stayed right there, and he refused to budge, until Billy, with his hand, gave him a little nudge. Then off he jumped into the night, the frog that gave Bonnie a terrible fright on this moonlit night. "Over here in the back," said Clay. "The strange noise is back there. So come along, I'll lead the way." With flashlight in hand, he looked around and listened real hard for that strange sound that seemed just could not be found. Until finally Clay said, "Ho hum, it's only a possum that's walking in my backyard and making it real hard to hear loopers and leapers, for all the strange sounds that all of them heard all around. Maybe we better, and because it's time for you to split and go back to your own yard and look one more time very hard for loopers and leapers that give you the creepers." "Oh, jeepers, they give us the creepers," said Billy. Then Clay said, "Mom will worry, so you'd better hurry. It will soon be 8:30, and you do not, should not, be not late, even if this adventure is quite great." So again, after they got home, walking down the trail a ways, They were home in no time, and again they looked around for loopers and leapers. Yes, they did. They looked everywhere, and just when they was about to give up, until they heard a strange whistling sound. Oh boy, oh boy, what's that whistling sound? Said Bonnie. I don't know, but it sure gives me the willies, said Billy. I think it's from over there, said Billy. Yes, you're right, said Bonnie. It's louder over there. That sounds creepy. Like loopers and leapers, said Billy. Oh, jeepers, they give me the creepers, those loopers and leapers. So they walked toward the sound, and their bodies shook all around for fear of what might be found when they got to the sound. Over there, said Billy. It's louder over there. That bush is shaking, and I hear a whistling sound. For what might be found, they did not exactly know. So they walked toward the sound because they didn't have anywhere else to go. With flashlight in hand, they aimed the light toward the bush that shook and gave them such a terrible fright in the middle of a moonlit night. It knows we are here. Should we run or look to see what it could possibly be? Yes, we will look, and yes, we will see what it could possibly be. And just when Billy took just one more step, out popped his little brother Lee, who laughed with joyful glee at the clever trick that he played on me. Then they heard another sound that was not frightening and can be heard all around. Yes, they did. It was Mother Deer who hollered out, "It's 8:30, so come back in before you're late." And so, as it became 8:30, Bonnie and Billy went back into the house, went back in with their mother, and thought of the great adventure they had just had. And though they didn't find loopers and leapers, they found a great adventure. This ends Loopers and Leapers that gave them the creepers. Well, I hope you liked the story. I messed up one time, but the show must go on. And if you look real close at the last picture, it says, the Mother Deer says, "It's 8:30, so come back in before you're late." If you can read that, that's what it says. This was a nice little garden I grew, or rather drew. I didn't grew, I drew it. Nice flowers and a nice little tree. Turned out really great. And these are all moonlit nights. That's the moon. And it's a purplish pink sunset. For the sun has just went down and is giving its last glow as the moon is already out, giving its glow. So ends Loopers and Leapers. Goodbye. Hope you like it. And I hope that it turned out all right.